After several years of war between the American colonists and the British, conflict raged on two fronts. The first encompassed the Middle and New England colonies, where the British commander, General Henry Clinton, was based in New York. The second front was in the South, where British General Lord Charles Cornwallis had captured Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. Meanwhile, General Washington's forces also camped in New York as they awaited the French commander, Count de Rochambeau, and his 5,500 troops. Originally, the two leaders had expected a second French fleet to sail to New York, but instead, the fleet went to the Chesapeake Bay. So in August 1781, Washington tricked the British into thinking that he had planned to attack New York, while he and Rochambeau took their troops to meet the French fleet in Virginia. As the Americans and the French marched to Williamsburg, Virginia, the French fleet arrived in the Chesapeake, where they defeated the British in the Battle of the Capes. The French then set a blockade and transported 3,000 soldiers to join Washington and Rochambeau. General Cornwallis faced a serious dilemma. The American forces totaled over 17,000 men, while his troops numbered a little over 8,000. And General Clinton in New York had not answered his request for aid. The American and French troops began the siege of Yorktown on September 28th. After several battles, the British were forced to surrender on October 19th. The British defeat sent shockwaves to the United States and Great Britain. The capture of so many British troops significantly damaged morale and weakened British resolve to continue fighting the war. Britain's surrender at the Siege of Yorktown on October 19, 1781, ended the fighting. By April 1782, American delegates Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and John Jay began negotiations with Britain's peace commissioner, Richard Oswald, to officially end the war. After 2 months of negotiations, the commissioners reached agreement on several key points. The United States was an independent country. Great Britain would retain Canada. The Mississippi River would act as a western border for the United States. Great Britain and the United States could both navigate the Mississippi. Property would be returned to the Loyalists living in the United States. Great Britain would be allowed to withdraw its troops from the United States. The United States and Great Britain signed an informal peace treaty on November 30th, 1782, which would not be finalized until France and Great Britain reached a separate peace agreement. French and British negotiators reached an initial peace agreement in January 1783. The formal Treaty of Paris, also called the Peace of Paris, was signed nearly a year later on September 3, 1783, and officially ended the American Revolution. France and Spain also signed treaties with Britain in September, while the Netherlands and Britain reached a separate peace agreement in May 1784.